The smelliest guy, mate. Don't you worry. I've got this. That's my my sort of like way I prepare for a stream. Got a cup of tea, checking the news to make sure I haven't missed anything. I want to talk about Crytek lawsuit stuff and whatever else other people want to talk about today. Just because, I don't really get tilted. I do when I play games, and all my friends that play games with me will laugh hilariously when I say I don't get tilted. We're talking a minute. This is pre-stream. My keyboard might sound different, and it would be different if I had changed it. But I've got a new keyboard. Come here, you keyboardy prick. Come on. Good keyboard. You wrapped this! Some sort of wrapping hero. Oh, that's from eBay. Oh my god, it smells of burnt plastic. It's actually in really good shape. Oh, this is going to make sound on stream if I use it. I won't use it today. I'll have to set up my camera better. I'll point you on. But already set on the USB. Listen to that bad boy. Oh, that's so... Oh, that's very satisfying to type on. Right. Any other stuff? Has anything on Reddit come out? We're expecting CIG to be back later today, aren't we? Oh, I just finished my tea and we'll start. I could Twitter. I could Twitter that I'm streaming. How fucking good would that be? That'd be the best. Get on my website. We need to update this website because there's currently 3.7 expected features here rather than 3.9 expected features here. Let's mark that for completion. Menus for after the stream. Nope. Exit menu. Nope. No. I can't remember how to use WordPress. I've forgotten entirely. Oh, perfect. Right, we'll sort that. Oh, we can just change it to my latest video on 3.9. Let's do that and then we'll start the stream. That's a smart idea. then we feel like we've done something. Citizen 3.9. Oh, of course. It's BoredGamer's video. Probably the latest one. Let's do that for now. Bam. Perfect. Publish. Easy mode. Right, but that's not why I went on my website. It was to go to the ship tracker and capturing crewed NPC ships. Let's put this keyboard over here when I show it off, sort of ish. That's from Patreon money, that is. And that volume down. Let's make my beautiful face become alive. The top of my head is cut off. That's actually how I look. That's not a camera trick or anything. But now we're going to use some camera tricks to cut more of my head off. Perfect. How is everyone doing today? I hope you are well. There's some emotes going on in my various chats. Appreciated. I love emotes. Some people call me a motor because I'm so hip and cool. I understand the emotes so well. Hope everyone is doing well though themselves. Yeah, Crytek have been suing CIG for ages, since 2017. Actually, I probably have the date they sued. 12th of December 2017 when they started suing. But yeah. As always, I just answer questions, whatever you kind of want to talk about. I know it's mostly going to be about Star Citizen, but it can be about me, it can be about YouTube, it can be about mental health, it can be about another game, it can be about, you know, agony questions, like how do I look like a beautiful shiny potato, and get girls, like whatever, and I will try and answer. I know a lot about Star Citizen stuff, but obviously I'm not a dev there, so bear that in mind. I just read through pretty much all the information I can. The weakest part of my knowledge is probably in-game current meta for like weapons and stuff. I am pretty poor at that. I go, I don't know what the best gun is at the moment, actually, in a given situation. So I'm actually trying to improve on that this week. And then I will stay up to date with the meta on a more permanent basis. I was drinking tea. Probably should have said that before I took the largest gulp of tea known to man. Oh. Robert Johnston! Guess you've seen this. And what is this? Let's put over here. Is it going to immediately go loud? No. I'd not... No, I have seen that. I have seen that one. I've seen the Hogue Law one. Thank you very much, Robert Johnston. I have watched that video in its entirety. If it's Star Citizen video made by 90%-ish of content creators, that's not just gameplay, I probably have watched it within, 24 to 48 hours. There's a lot of articles that actually feature my videos in as well. I don't suggest they do that either. So, at the moment, Crytek is suing Star Citizen, and at the moment, well, that's been going on since December 2017, and there's been some amended complaints from Crytek about what they were actually suing about, and some dismissals of what they were suing about, and now Crytek are trying to dismiss their own case so that they can refile it later. At least that's what they've said. Now, the interesting thing is that there was an article posted on Reddit by Risk1911, who has been quoted in a load of other, basically just interpreting the original legal document from, well, I say original legal document, the legal document, the recent one from January 2nd, about the motion to dismiss and joint stipulation from CIG. I'm basically saying this means that Squadron 42, it's ages and ages and ages away, and some other colourful interpretations, in my opinion, colourful interpretations, but a load of outlets have just accepted as fact rather than interpretation or opinion and posted, which I just like. I'm no legal expert, I'm pretty sure that guy isn't, and what they infer is, in my opinion, incorrect anyway. Now, so one of the current issues I have is that in the current sort of like the reason that Crytek want to a motion to dismiss is they want to refile their lawsuit later. So they're saying motion to dismiss. We'll pick this up later. It's just a pause of the proceedings. It's not. It would be a motion to dismiss. They'd have to refile. But we're not going to waste anything. So there's no need for us to pay Star Citizen's legal fees because we're going to be suing them anyway. However, the reason we need to have this motion to dismiss is because Star Citizen kept on saying, CIG kept on saying that they were going to be releasing Squadron 42, and we thought it would be released by the time our lawsuit was out. It's basically what they were saying. And our case is not ripe because we've done discovery with them, and this discovery has shown something. And it's very and we can't say what that something is because it's been redacted. We don't know what it is. But then Crytek have made a little statement after that saying it would be very surprising for the audience of Star Citizen and people that have pre-ordered that game to know this. Oh, they're very surprised. I was like, is that allowed with a redacted statement? You're allowed to interpret and say what it sort of says. So my understanding of that, and we'll go over this again in a bit more detail in a bit if people want to. My understanding of this is that Star Citizen, CIG probably don't have a release date for Squadron 42. They probably said, we don't have a release date for Squadron 42. It's probably as simple as that. They don't have a hard release date. They don't have a publisher. They can release whenever the fuck they want. And when they asked, because Crytek basically said, are you going to release it as a standalone from Star Citizen? They probably said, we might not. It might be part of the Star Citizen launcher. It might not. We don't know yet. We haven't got plans for that yet. And they sort of like being in their rights to sort of say that. But the interesting thing is that a lot of people have been saying that that's the original premise, or the major premise of what Crytek's case is based on. The fact that Squadron 42 needs to be out, or they thought it was going to be out by this time when they started suing. That is incorrect. And the reason I believe that to be incorrect anyway is because when you look at the first document that they were when you look at the first document when they originally sued CIG, they asked for an injunctive order to prevent the development of the games. If the game was going to come out in that time, that doesn't make much sense. They still want an injunctive order now, surely, because Crytek also said that they were concerned with fairness and not the money. So it doesn't make any sense that they've now... Well, it does make sense they've now changed their tack to... We're waiting for Squadron 42 to come out, because it makes them a lot more money and gives them a lot more leveraging position if they did get anything. And it's just... I hate the argument online that... Or that even what it says in the court documents from Crytek that they thought it was going... Squadron 42 was going to be out. Okay. Why didn't you sue when it was out then? You didn't sue when it was out originally. And also you asked for an injunctive order to prevent the development of the game. Like, come on. Just a ridiculous thing. Really annoyed me. And just a load of outlets were just reading this Reddit post and just using that as fact. Not the actual legal document themselves and coming up with their own understanding of it. Or reading it in common law. They were just going, oh, this means that Squadron 42's years away. It might be. But it might not be. What's more likely is that CIG just said they don't have a release date. So, yeah, that's my... Not normally super tilted. Today, yes, over the last couple of days, a little bit more tilted than normal. How'd you get to look so good? Thanks, Still Stark. I appreciate that. Robert Johnston, I love you so much. Starts off by saying Star Citizen has been in dev for 10 years and other biased comments. Was it 9 years? 8 years in development. It's 8th year of development, isn't it? 8th year of development? 8 years of development? Something like that. Originally sort of like started developing really in 2012. In some way. Dragus, thank you very much for the sub as well. Very much appreciated. Hey, Stars, thank you. Thank you people chucking money and stuff at me. I was battling an octopus earlier, that's why you had the blah blah blah. If you'd like to ask a question in brackets will allow me to pick it out much more easily from any other questions, or just random statements of fact or not fact. ASMR is beautiful the way I do it, I know, just sort of like angrily shouting at my screen. Hey, saw you at CitizenCon. Wish we had time for more of a chat. You should have pinned me down, not in a weird, creepy way. But I would have happily talked to you. You should have said, "Talk to me more." I'd be again, no worries. To the bar. Next time, are you UK based? I'm planning to do potentially in place of BritainCon this year, a big bar citizen. So literally probably go up to Manchester, do a pub quiz, a pub crawl all day, some prizes and stuff, get some devs involved. That's the sort of stuff I'd like to do. Oh, so the new keyboard I was clicking at the beginning, which I haven't yet to put in on, is Roccat Vulcan AMO 100/120. Doesn't matter, it's the same thing. I've technically got the 120, but it's really sort of it's got bezel-less. Is actually what I wanted, which is why I bought it. It's very clicky, but it's quite satisfying, and it's not particularly painful on my hands. You've got to remember that I sit in front of a PC at least 8 hours a day, at least, and I type a lot, and I make notes all the time, and I play a lot of games. So, oh mate, someone's been watching Steve Brandy watch Spiffing Brit. He loves his Yorkshire tea. I'm just standard, some sort of black organic tea I drink. It's nice. I've actually been drinking a lot of green tea recently. I used to drink a load of green tea and I moved off it, but I've come back now. Bored, when the game is released, you've got to do Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous livecast in game. Damn right. Yeah, we'll do that. So the Crytek lawsuit is Crytek off suing for breach of contract for CIG. Originally, it was they weren't allowed to move over to the Lumberyard Engine. However, Crytek dropped that because they were allowed to, according to their contract agreement. They then said that they were still using the Crytek engine, which CIG said, we've moved over to Lumberyard, but the code is very similar, seeing it's built on the Cry engine, which Crytek have now used in their statements, and other people have used in their statements, to say CIG have admitted that they're still using Cry engine. So they might be using Cry engine, but that was not an admission of it. They're just saying that. And lots of people are saying, oh no, they found that out in Discovery. No, they didn't reference it from Discovery. They referenced it from something that Ortwin said, or one of the other, I think it was Ortwin or someone replying said, which was, the code is basically the same. Yes, it would be a Manchester pub crawl, would be the idea. And we would end up, the place we'd end up in the evening, we'd do a pub quiz in. And I think that CIG would have to give prizes for it because it's a game of skills something. Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to not be involved in it financially if I did something like that. Like, it would have to be like all the money goes to charity if it makes any money. Or all the prizes are somehow determined. Well, I suppose not through me. It'd be pub quiz. So as long as I'm not involved in it properly, I don't want to take anything from CIG. I made that very clear. A load of people have got back to me and helped me with my poll of should I take giveaway ships from CIG. So they offer me for 3.7, 3.8. They offered me a ship to give away to my audience. You'll see other content creators that were giving away ships sponsored by CIG. I sort of refused that because it's a complex issue. And 80% of people at the moment, or 79 to 80%, think it's good that you didn't take the ship. No, they think I should take the ship. Wait, 1 second. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the poll. I've confused myself. I think 80% of people actually said, take the money! Take the money! Community. Let's have a look. Okay. So my worry is that taking anything like prizes or anything from CIG, even if it's not directly something for me, is still a slippery slope and sort of like makes you less reliable as a content creator, sort of. Like, that's just my worry. I'm not saying other content creators are unreliable. I think that other people should take the ships or whatever. It's just my worry, and I can only be true to me, and I know whatever. So I don't think it's like a slight on other content creators. You do you. So I basically said, should I take giveaway prizes that are just immediately given away to people from CIG? And 79% of people said, yes, I should. And 21 said no. 21% out of around 500 comments here. So there's been a lot of people saying different things. Some very, 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 very good comments on both sides of you're just fucking your own audience over by not giving away a free ship. And other sort of like, I wouldn't respect you if you took it. Like, there's a lot. It's still something I'm thinking about, and I will consider more in the future. And I will tell you when I've come to a decision. I'm also going to be updating my website regularly with little guides and things. I saw this gentleman, Impact Zone, made a video on how to steal an NPC hammerhead, and I went, actually, I've realised that I haven't made a guide on how to capture NPC ships in game and why you'd want to do that. So you can literally capture NPC ships in game, and I thought about doing a couple of little tiny guides that I check on the website every week, which I could also put as a video, but need to. So if people are interested in that sort of stuff. I've also just updated my Star Citizen ship tracker stuff, which I use the YTO ship comparison charts, and then I just sort of like list all the ships that have come out over the last couple of years, what patches they've gone in with, all the concept ships in 2018, all the concept ships in 2019. I need to move that potential concepts down to here, and then we've got the 2020, the next concept ships expected mid-February 2020. Although CIG are moving to more flight-ready ships where possible. But got the links to all the original posts as well for full credit. I didn't make this. I saw someone else made this, and I was like, oh, it's got everything listed. But check out my website, because that makes you a cool dude. Dayton Cattrall, thank you very much for 25 months. That's a long time, isn't it? Shit, son. All right, let's have a look. Let's have a look through here. When do devs get back? I believe today is when you'll start to see more updates again. So they should update the posts saying what the weekly plan is, and we should start to see videos and stuff again. Raging Sage, thank you very much for resubbing. Very much appreciated. 28 months. Fucking hell. It's a good day so far. Yeah, I was working out what content I wanted to do today, and I was like, I'll just stream, and then I'll do some updates to the website and update SoundCloud, my podcast stuff, and look through the original documents for the Crytek filings, just so I have it all in my head for when people ask me. So I actually did law at university, but for 2 years. Yeah, it's UK contract law and stuff. It's not the same as this stuff at all. I'm just my head is geared towards being able to list stuff pretty well. Yeah, it's been a good day. Been pretty chill. Content-wise, over the next couple of days, I want to get a video out on sort of like what concept ships are left to be built that they're currently listed. I think there's about 40 of them. And I'd love to, over the next week, if I can, if I've got enough time, get a roadmap to completion out. So literally looking at all the features in Star Citizen that are not there yet, that it needs before it would be considered a feature-complete beta. I would expect within the next 2 weeks to see a 3.8.x patch fixing a load of stuff. And probably dropping us the armor that you can see in the background now. Avari armor, is it called? Something like that? No, so Crytek had a game, bought rights to use the CryEngine pretty much in a load of different ways, originally from Crytek, with a game license agreements. So they still had some things they had to adhere to, like while using that engine, they had to put the logos and stuff like that. And they weren't supposed to show it for any of the special code from the Crytek engine and things like that. So potentially Bug Smashers showed off some of that code and shouldn't have, although we don't know. based on, is Star Citizen at time of release, I suppose it could be argued, using any Crytek code from a Crytek branch that they're not supposed to be using now, because they moved over to the Lumberyard. Originally, Crytek said they couldn't. The court went, yeah, they can, and dismissed that particular claim which was seen as the major claim by a lot of people. And now it's moved on to they developed 2 games using a single license. Apparently, Squadron 42 is not part of that license, so they sell it as a standalone game, and they have sold it separately. Although they could easily get around that by just having it in the same launcher and giving people access to Star Marine that bought Squadron 42, which I think they were going to do anyway. So, yeah, it's an interesting one, the Crytek case. Is your org recruiting? Are you more than welcome to join the BoredGamer org? It's going to be a social org. Gameplay Friday. People want to do some gameplay Friday and they're around. We'll do some gameplay streaming gameplay. I'll organise something silly to do. We'll see if it works. It might all fucking go tits up, and it just all crash and break down, and everything not work. And I'll be like, oh, this is a terrible stream. But then I'll just talk, and it'll be fine. I do not want to be pinned down with strangers. No, I want to be pinned down by strangers. What? Both. BoredGamer, would you agree that they're just money hungry? I mean, this lawsuit is about contract and is almost entirely about getting money. Doesn't necessarily mean they're money hungry, but that's what this form of this part of the legal system is there for. It is to go, I have been wronged contractually, give me money for the damages. Give me a fair amount of money for the damages, and if it was malicious or you did something reckless or whatever, then sort of like put some more restrictions on that, put some charge them more money, whatever. But technically, the court will look at it fairly and go, this is the amount that this company has been wronged by this. Let's give them some money. It's contract. It's contract. It's not moral. It's not sort of like anything like that. Of course, it's money hungry, or at least, yeah, the lawyers are money hungry. Of course they are. On both sides. They're capitalists. The capitalist legal system. Board, any news on when we'll see weather cockpit effects on the other ships? You see them on the cockpits of ships currently. You want to see more different ones or new ones, or on all the ships or whatever? Is that what you're asking? Those 80% of people are wrong. Take the damn ships. I say, stay independent. I can be independent and take the ships. It's just other people won't think I'm independent if I take the ships. I'm happy that I can go, give me free ships. If you do something wrong, I'll still say, fuck yeah. I'm my own still special being. One of the press guys at CIG when I was at CitizenCon said, "You're your own special being, Rich." When I asked on my press, I was like, "Oh, thanks. That's a good way of describing what I feel like." I'm a really ugly, weird little hobbit potato boy poster boy for CIG if I am. Yeah, I'll go with my gut probably with the ship stuff and getting free stuff from CIG. In the future, once they've released a product, I won't have so much of a problem with it. I'll go, yeah, fucking pay for me to go to Gamescom, give me free computers. Do you think the Ares series is coming before the rest of the Crusader ships? No, I would expect the Ares to be a little further out. I would expect to see the Mercury and the Crusader and the Hercules stuff first. And I would expect to see that's a lot of this stuff on the roadmap once they update it. You think we'll see a Xi'an capital ship in concept or flyable before release? Before release, yes. In game in some way, yes. Almost certainly a Xi'an capital ship, because they'll want capital ships for the Xi'an, potentially even the Tavaran. They haven't even looked at the Crytek yet, or we haven't. Tavaran capital ships, maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to... I'm not sure if the Xi'an would have given us the ability to have humans on Xi'an ships. They wouldn't sell them commercially anyway. So it might just be for the Xi'an. They probably will put in game at some point, and they will be enemies and friends and whatever. They wanted to have a Xi'an cargo ship as a concept, which would be flyable by humans. When are we going to see 4.1 on the roadmap? I would expect it later this month. When do the show Inside Star Citizen and Star Citizen Live come back? I would hope this week, but it will be this week or next week. Almost certainly. Do you know where I can buy the store all for my Aurora MR? If so, where? No, I don't, actually. Does it not come with a store all? Came with a store. I might be an idiot. Thought it had a store all box originally. I don't know where you can buy one. Even though you've sent me money. There is a spreadsheet of all the items that I have open somewhere. Bear with me. My voice has gone a bit weird. That's all the minables. Oop. That is my credit rating. On Reddit, I saw items. Limit to Star Citizen. What? That's the whole of Reddit for items. There was a list somewhere on Reddit. Can't see it now. It would take me. Got an ore guide. Yeah, there's a list, and let me just make sure it's not here. This might be it. There you go. There you go, buddy. This might have what you need. Where you can find any components you want. When is the new UIs coming? They are building new UIs. Expect to see them this year. A bit piecemeal. So expect to see them iteratively from patch to patch. So this will be more tactile buttons on lifts and elevators. This will be new UIs and HUDs for mobiGlas type stuff, MFDs, cockpits and ships, stuff like that. People already think you're a shill anyway. That is fucking true. I am sort of invested in the Star Citizen project to succeed. But I probably would do better in videos. Let's get close to the camera. If it wasn't doing well. Because I could just... People would be much more interested in Star Citizen if it was like a constant trash fire. But it's not. It's got elements that people massively blow out of control and go, it's in development hell. And people are like, it's always a trash fire. But it's not. I mean, it's just not. It's obviously going reasonably well. They're making a fuck ton of money every year. And they are starting to release parts of the game. And it is very good looking. I love you, Salty Mike, by the way. We need to sort out our gameplay series again properly. I mean, you're a YouTuber. You earn money from your followers and donators. If you buy ships, it's basically with their money. So, why should it be an issue to accept an offer for a free ship? That is true. It's just, you know, it's just worries there. I think that there's sort of like the acknowledgement that CIG are using you as a marketing tool. Yeah. That's basically why they're doing it. They're doing it to help promote you. They've acknowledged you as a marketing tool. And I think there is a worry, or at least there would be worries with certain companies, that you would then sort of like be honor bound or whatever to give them positive press because of that. To pay them back in some way. Even though it was sort of like unspoken or unwritten. You know what I mean? That's the worry. Or at least other people will see it like that. This game is vaporware. I disagree wholeheartedly. Robert Johnston, I've noticed a big increase in Star Citizen YouTubers since CitizenCon. Well, there's certainly been a big increase in me since CitizenCon, mate. Christmas. Maybe a bit tubbier, didn't it? Oh my god, this music is loud. How do you not loud music? How do music go down not loud? Okay, let's do this. Battle of Centauri. Right. Turn that down a bit. Perfect. Bring this back up. Thank you very much, Odin Omen. Odin Momen. Thank you very much for the sub. Nith. What the fuck is your name? Nith. Nithti. Nithti. It's actually how you say your name. Very guttural. Was it a complete coincidence that Amazon bought the code of CryEngine and made Lumberyard just at the same time CIG were leaving Crytek? No. I think it was CIG went, Amazon have got more money. Crytek looked like they might go bankrupt and weren't paying their employees for a long time. So CIG probably went, we can work with the Amazon Lumberyard engine, which is actually more advanced than the engine we're using, get free updates on it, get a load of press from it, work with a company that's got a load of money and more stable, and we're not tied into this agreement with Crytek to use their engine. If we use it, obviously we have to, credit them, but if we don't use it, then we don't. So they moved on to Amazon. Crytek got paid for their license. They got paid for a license the CIG are no longer using. And CIG aren't saying, give us the money back for the license. They're not saying that or anything. They've paid. And Crytek didn't get any royalties or anything or percentage. Otherwise, if there was some sort of percentage based, like, give us 2% of the game of sales, then Crytek could be annoyed and certainly could be like, hang on, you start us this money. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad that people think I'm beautiful, even though I'm not. But it's okay. The delusion that you have is perfect for me. Caterpillar versus Hercules. How do you think they'll compete with one another? So I think the Hercules Starlifter, assuming you're talking about the C2 rather than any of the others, I would expect the C2 to be better at dropping off a vehicle. Obviously, can drop off a tank. Caterpillar can't drop off a tank. And probably the Hercules will be better going to planet and moon site. It's more of a drop ship. The Caterpillar's more of a cargo hauler. Although the Caterpillar's going to be significantly more modular in the future. The four side modules and potentially the front module will all be able to be swapped out. Do you anticipate CIG will attempt to fix the flight model? Yes. So I even talked about to Dave Coulson at CitizenCon about it. Although I didn't realise my first sentence to him, because he said something to me out of the corner of my eye. I replied to him, "Oh, are you volunteering then?" I thought he was a volunteer, and then I realised it was Dave Coulson. It took me like a whole 10 seconds to realise who he was. Oh shit! I recognise you now. So that was slightly embarrassing. But he basically said that they think they've got all the, well, when I talked to him, they think they've got all the elements, the bare bones of getting the flight model where they want to. They're just waiting for other stuff to come out, and they need iteration on it and fixes for it and that sort of stuff. So yes, they want to iteratively fix the flight model and get it into a great state for, well, before Squadron 42 comes out. Any updates on the Crytek lawsuit? Yeah, so I don't know when the last thing you saw was, but I'll talk about the Crytek lawsuit in a bit more detail in a second after I've gone through these questions. It'll be me ranting. I am not a lawyer, but I am good at ranting. I think turrets are getting better and better, or at least they're about to make them better and better. I mean, the AI in turrets can certainly shoot. The IG's back, they just answered some stuff on Spectrum. Perfect. That's good to hear. Has CIG said when the cargo pods on the Prospector will become detachable and be transportable by cargo ships? I would expect they require ship-to-ship docking before they have that, and potentially the morphing, the animated physics grid stuff to get done that they want the Hull C to have before they release that. Should be all done this year at some point, that tech. I'm assuming that they could release that at the same time, or they might wait a little bit longer. I suspect those cargo pods will be able to be picked up in multiple different ways, including tractor beams, but also probably like stuck straight onto the sides of like hull Cs and stuff. I don't see the point in the conflict. CIG bought the license with Lumberyard, and Lumberyard is owned by Amazon. Crytek sold his engine to Amazon. Why don't Crytek mess with Amazon then? Because it was CIG is the one that they say broke the contract. So Crytek are alleging that some things. They're saying that CIG should have never have been developing 2 games with the engine, with their license, and that Crytek, that Squadron 42 and Star Citizen are 2 separate games, and have been marketed as such. And there's some other stuff as well, but that's now the main point of their case. Or at least that's what Crytek are now saying is the main point of their case. There are some ships that have 0 cargo space listed, but plenty of internal space. These are often used for delivery missions rather than trade missions. Will/should CIG let you place stacks of cargo in these ships conveniently via terminals? So the idea is that they don't want all ships to be able to do everything. There are going to be little cupboards and little places that you can put certain types of cargo and items in ships, little storage areas. The idea of cargo crates is that they are mag-locked to the floor in special areas. So some ships just don't have those areas, or the internal space has got other stuff underneath it. I would like there to be a way that potentially you could safely store a single SCU of cargo with straps or something that takes up a lot more space in an area, even if it's on a gurney or something. I'm very much looking forward to Cyberpunk this year. If CIG offered you a job with them, probably marketing, would you take it? Not at the moment. No, God, no. Doing pretty well doing what I do, and it suits me perfectly. I am a bit mad. I'm bipolar. I have a very erratic anxiety condition, and I'm looking after my dad that has cancer. My brother requires occasional care. He's hemiplegic. So I'm happy where I am, and I'd have to probably move up somewhere else or whatever. I've been playing Star Citizen using Shadow for over a year and a half, and it works quite well, playable, and I'm able to create my own content for YouTube. Thanks for help, BG. I'm glad it works for you, Samiyeti. There's a lot of upgrades that coming February onwards with the Shadow stuff, so hopefully they'll upgrade your equipment for free if they, and maybe potentially, I'm not sure how that's going to work. But there's lots of options hardware-wise you can choose from as well. Bored, lose weight slowly but easily by simply eliminating sugar almost completely. I do not have much sugar at all. The only sugar I have is I have a drop of honey in in my soy sauce, which I put on like quinoa and like my Asian dishes. A little tiny bit of honey in that. And then occasionally a cup of tea, I'll have half a spoonful of sugar. But I'm a very little sugar in my life. But thank you very much, Summit Yeti. I think I have under 8 grams of sugar a day, or whatever it was that people suggested you have. So, as a follow-up question to my last, do you think Lumberyard was created in any way for CIG in order to avoid using CryEngine? No. Not specifically, no. Amazon bought CryEngine because they wanted to get into the gaming market. They wanted to build their own games, because Amazon sort of like want to be part of everything because they've got all the fucking money in the world. And CIG looked at that and went, shit, this is awesome for us. Crytek are a bit unstable at the moment, and this is significantly better for us for the future of our game. That's my expectation of what happened. Do you think CIG will continue to be vague about lifetime insurance and what it actually does? Yes, until they know themselves. Until they actually build insurance systems in the game. Which potentially could be coming later this year. They could be looking at insurance and insurance system properly. You think they're using it as a selling tactic? I potentially, it certainly adds and helps with the sales lifetime insurance. Do you think lifetime insurance will be a big, medium, or small incentive? A small incentive. I think that they have said that lifetime insurance won't be that big a deal. So genuinely take it as that. It won't be that big a deal. It will be the probably the base hull of your ship will have a very basic insurance, either paying back a small amount of the value of the ship, or more likely you'll get the ship back, but it might take a long time. That's my expectation of lifetime insurance. You'll never lose the ship, but you'll probably want to insure it better anyway. And if you lost it, you get the hull back, but it might take a long time. So I'm happy about permanently changing my diet, and as long as I'm happy with that diet, I will keep it. I do like very, very nice food, though. At the moment, I'm eating lots of Japanese and Asian food. There's some very nice dumplings I found, which I have with sort of like quinoa that I've cooked in almond milk, which I think is all very healthy, I hope. It's very low calorie, it's all unsweetened. But yes, CIG Energy will continue to be vague about lifetime insurance because they're not sure what it means either yet. The Sabre Raven still has no lifetime insurance now. It has 2 months currently. I'm hoping that it gets retroactive lifetime insurance. So I will push for retroactive lifetime insurance on the Raven, although it's probably not a priority to CIG in the slightest. In your opinion, is there any multiplayer mechanics you think would be easy to implement that would make the current PU more multiplayer friendly? So, wallet-to-wallet transactions, sharing and saving locational data so that you can travel straight there. Those would be the two things I would do. I think would help a lot. I don't know what you're doing with your life, Hanathcom. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Happy New Year to you as well, sir. Oh, you star. Thank you. Thanks for all the follows as well. There's a lot of people following me on Twitch and YouTube. Thank you, thank you. Very much appreciated. But I mean, the other thing is that persistence is the thing that makes the game playable and generally more friendly. We need full persistence and permanent progression. Obviously, before we have like, and I mean, they can reset stuff. Like they can reset it when they move into beta. They can reset it when they move to UEC, and they can do like the final reset if they need to or whatever. But in the meantime, why not give us permanent progression and then just reset every so often? So once we have platform persistence in 3.8.x, that's what I'm excited for. The asset database is a mess at the moment. Duplicate ships, missing items. Do you think it will get fixed before iCache? I think it will have to be fixed before they put out the platform persistence. So I think that it's a mess because they're messing around with it. With the Q&A out, how functional will the Ares be as an overall combat ship versus other niche ships that are meant to do one thing, like attack capital ships? So we don't know 100% until it's in our hands and balanced. But on paper, the Ares is a very high damage alpha striking ship, which would work really well with other ships. So it probably doesn't want to dogfight with another ship because they will outpace it and outmaneuver it. But if there's multiple Ares or Ares being supported by other ships, then they can bring their weapons to bear on a ship that's not constantly trying to maneuver around it. You know what I mean? We'll talk more about the Crytek lawsuit again in a second. Are you still able to upgrade the Carrack C8 to a C8X? No, you're not at the moment. But as far as I'm aware, you're not able to at the moment. However, you probably will be able to in the future again. I suspect when the Carrack goes on sale in February. And the eye cache comes in. Will my victims persist in the stomach of my pet giant sandworm? Now, I don't think the sandworm will be in game at that point, unfortunately. I do think they will have your sandworm in there at some point, Jag. So one day, Jag, what we need to do, so we'll try and make this happen, is when the sandworm is in game, come on stream, we will do some gameplay, you and me, Jag, and anyone else that's around, and we will sandworm. I'm not sure what that means yet, but we will sandworm hard. When is Shadow going to be available in Utah? I don't know, Ted. So I know that Shadow are expanding, and obviously because of Stadia, they've got a huge amount more people interested in Shadow now because Shadow gives you shield time. Mantis, why am I still the bit leader? Give this man money, chat. Come on, cheer 13. Thank you very much, Mantis. I love your face. Thank you for being my money cheerleader. So I know Shadow's expanding because of Stadia as well. People went, oh, what's this Stadia? Stadia's not great for what we want, but Shadow gives you a Windows 10 gaming environment that you can fully customize. And Stadia's sort of like just a bad use of games. Oh, poor Stadia, man. Could have been so much better. The UI. Games running poorly. But Shadow's cool. So now they're expanding, but I'm not sure when it will be available exactly near you. You could email them. They might be able to give you a bit more indication. Bored, I want those lovely rainy effects on my Saber Raven canopy. What's your prediction when they come out? Well, I have them on my Super Hornet canopy. Are they not? Were they not available? I didn't know that. I didn't actually realise they weren't available on all ships canopies. I haven't noticed. When they're not there, I suppose I don't notice. When they are there, I notice. There's a lawyer YouTuber covering it. Forgot his name. There's someone sent me one about I've seen Hogue Law, but he just looks at. He doesn't look at the case properly. He just sort of like looks at the Reddit and the article and then just says, yeah, the judge will allow this sort of thing. I think, from my understanding, that's what he said. He hasn't read into the case and the background of it. Or it doesn't look like he has. Leah Lesser, YouTuber Law, had previously done videos on it, and Leonard French, Lawful Masses, had previously done stuff on it. They're both very good. I haven't seen anything come out from Leah Lesser for about 5 to 6 months in general, but Leonard French is certainly very strong. So hopefully Lawful Masses will cover it in some detail. I'm planning on a new rig when the 3080 Ti drops. I'll certainly be upgrading to a 3080 Ti as long as they're solid cards. Won't they sell more by having all the ships on sale all the time? Potentially. CIG's marketing's been very good. Artificial scarcity's obviously spurred on people to buy in spurts and sort of like get groups of people to spur each other on, and they can have like a big event about these sales and these concepts, sort of like marketing campaigns that when they have a ship on concept and they sell it, loads of YouTubers and loads of other people make a load of content on it and post all about it and everything. So you know if the shields on the Saber have had the shield holes fixed? That's one of my hopes for 3.8.x. The shield holes for a load of the different ships being fixed. Do you think Star Citizen will be good in VR? I think it'll be too complicated and a bit too hectic in VR, personally. I think Squadron 42 might be pretty good in VR when they get it done. What has been said about AI, Cortana, Geth, esque beings? So, as far as I'm aware, there isn't AI to that degree in Star Citizen. They sort of like, they've avoided it. They've said anytime that sort of AI is trying to be built out, like very intelligent AI, It sort of like doesn't work, and there's no like AI race as far as we're aware yet. What do you think we'll get first? Full persistence or the Misk Endeavour? Full persistence. Almost certainly. They want to have full persistence in this year. That's not necessarily true persistence, but it is the ability to have locational, the location of objects saved. That's what they deem as full persistence. Permanent progression is what we all want, I think. Even with the 3.8 issues, I'm able to make 1 million Alpha UEC in about 4 hours with a single caterpillar. Looking forward to the economy rebirth, but I'm thinking making credits is going to be always fairly easy. Yep, in some ways, certainly. However, the dynamic economy should balance, and with that in mind. If it's really easy for everyone to make a load of money, then inflation will go up. G-Sharp, thank you very much for the bits. Very much appreciated. Feel like you were press ganged by Mantis into doing that. What do you think the long-term goal that will keep you motivated in game will be? Earning more money, generally playing, having fun, not being bored. Just like social play and organized sort of like let's do this, let's attack here, let's try and push these guys back, let's try and make a fuckload of money, let's do this raid. I'm an old school WoW player as well, so and Eve player. The general day-to-day activity of interacting with people and doing great tasks together. I think there will be a wipe when platform persistence is released. I certainly think it's possible. They're obviously going to try not to, if possible, but it's certainly possible there will be a wipe with it. And there's a load of fucking problems with the database stuff at the moment, so probably. You're looking at getting a Threadripper 3960 and 3080 Ti this summer. Nice. Nice! Yeah, limited ships should be purchasable in-game somehow in the future, yeah. We'll be able to get an Idris M somehow. No, we need less plumbuses in-game. Do you think a perk of the Prospector is that it's able to fly inside the mouth of a sandworm and mine inside where the Mole and the Orion might not be able to fit? The mouth and it come out its belly button. Maybe. I thought like Jag was asked that. It's Honeydew that asked that. Or Houdini, as I occasionally call him. What other games am I playing right now? I'm watching my mate finish playing Detroit Become Human. Which I think is one of a very good one of those sort of like decision-making games. Been playing Apex Legends. Just about to start playing GTFO. That's sort of like all I'm playing at the moment, other than the Star Citizen. I'm playing a little bit of BattleTech and MechWarrior. When do you think we'll see volumetric clouds above planets like Microtech and Hurston? So they've started to, they obviously have the tech for the coil, and they're starting to have more and more volumetric clouds being used in game in different ways. At the moment, it's sort of like faked on the planets, though. We could see it with like maybe 4.0. I don't think it's part of 3.9, but definitely next year that sort of tech coming in. It'd be lovely to have dynamic weather, wouldn't it? Yeah, someone's showing me those the MS Flight 2020 sim stuff. I mined my head off and tried to sell it at the admin office, but it raised a legal commodity and nothing else. What? What? Rangers are not available for purchase. Looking for a vehicle to put inside of my Pisces. The Rangers aren't available in game yet, or to purchase, and I'm not sure if they'd fit inside of Pisces. The Pisces is pretty fucking small. If a Ranger doesn't fit, nothing else will. When Star Citizen releases, will you still be bored? Occasionally, yes, I'm sure. I'll be more active, though. Why can't I sell my ore? Because the fucking game hates you. I had problems with not being able to sell at certain terminals and certain stations as well. I think they genuinely wanted to have dynamic weather and volumetric clouds in 2020. I would expect it in the like Q3 onwards for 2020. Will 3080 Ti, SLI, and V-Link be supported? Vulkan's going to be supported with the game, so I suspect that all the new graphics cards and any configuration of them should be supported and scalable. Yeah, so the handcuffs that you see being on sale, they're actually part of the advocacy tools, as far as I'm aware. So there's the stun baton and handcuffs that you got with the original Cutlass Blue pledge. We become kind of BoredGamer UK. Wow. What do you think is going? If I was into chocolate, I could be Kinder BoredGamer UK. Oh my god, Kinder Surprises. I am basically a Kinder Surprise for the Star Citizen mate. What do you think is going to be the best improvement to in-game org play? Being able to be part of your org in-game permanently, so literally as org as faction, org reputation, and having more players on servers. More players on servers is probably the biggest thing, so that the orgs can actually fight against each other. Do you think CIG will ever stop selling ships for real money? In some form, no. Like, they'll still sell game packages with ships, even probably for the next 20 years. If you were to play D&D, what race, class, and alignment would you play? Lawful neutral. Human. Because I'm not actually... I mean, I actually quite like humans in D&D games and space games and stuff. I typically will play human. I don't know what class, though. Quite like rogues now. I think people get annoyed when I play a bard. But I quite like rogues. Combat-y rogue. Are you aware of problems streaming using Vulkan rendering using OBS? No, I wasn't actually. Although I suppose technically I am, because of I thinking about it, I am aware that there have been problems with Vulkan stuff that I've played previously. I suspect they'll think of some fixes. There'll be some. Don't worry, it'll be the future. You can always screen capture it, can't you? So any logic in the patch branches, they just count up. That's the logic now. Any idea when we can sell guns and armor back to a store? That's a good question. No, I'm not. I don't know that. I would expect once they have build persistence in, they might start to look at that as part of the economy. Do you think we'll be able to hard-boil eggs for salads in game? I think we're able to make food and eat food. Long before we get a Mr. Potato BoredGamer edition. Wow. Maybe if I can get them made, I'll have them made for merch. Do you think CIG will partner and bring a sandworm fleshlight to... Oh, wow. Wow. You have severe problems. See that on Dragon Specialist Man's Products / Women's Products site. Wow. 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 Do you think people with weaker PCs will be able to play the game in the future in terms of optimization, or their requirements rise? I think that Star Citizen will become more and more scalable and have better and better graphics options to be able to have it at the lowest end and high end. Obviously, you'll want a better PC because you'll get the best possible performance and quality. You can't use Vulkan yet. No. They're integrating it this year, I believe. No, so I've got a ukulele around somewhere in my room, which I annoyingly play in terribly badly. And I occasionally say that my mate, who's really good with guitar, taught me. That makes him angry. Is it possible that we would see the Misk Endeavour released after the official launch of Star Citizen? Or does the CIG have some commitment to release all of the original ships prior to full release? No, it doesn't have any commitment to release any ship in any particular order beyond them deciding what order to do them in, based on feedback and what's sensible for the game and Squadron 42 needs at the moment. Miss Grazer, EX, how realistic to use on a practical level? What do you mean? The EX is the black one, isn't it, for the stealth in? I'm not a massive fan of Red Dead Redemption 2. With all the WoWs, World of Warcraft, I'm assuming. Oh no, the WoWs was at WoW. Are you considering getting one of those particular fleshy sandworm models? No, I wasn't, but I am now. Who's the appropriate person to contact at CIG about content creator accounts checking out the game? Does CIG do this yet for appropriately sized people? According to, I believe, Scott Manley said he had one. He had a press account, or had access to a press account in one of his videos, I believe. I have not heard of anyone else getting one, but I assume that press outlets have had accounts that they could have used. So contact customer service, ask who you need to talk to. Penny Zero Quantum will obviously come in parts. Which part in which patch do you think is probably the most exciting thing coming for Star Citizen? It's a certain important element and pillar of Star Citizen. 3.9 is going to be the start, according to the roadmap at the moment anyway, of the dynamic economy and the dynamic mission system. So deeper economy, deeper systems for that. And they're going to build more and more and more and more on that throughout 2020 and beyond. What kind of PC would you recommend for this game? The best one you can buy? 1070 at least. 1070 GeForce. Probably almost certainly would get a Super now because they're pretty much the same price. At least 16 gigs of RAM. And then, I mean, really 6th gen i7 onwards is fine. Or any of the new mid to high end Ryzen stuff. How's the lawsuit looking since Crytek is waiting? Does that mean they're hoping to win later and get paid more then? We'll talk about that in a second. I'm just going to do a quick bio and then we'll talk about that. Are there plans for PvE in the form of wildlife on planets, etc.? Yes! Wildlife, they plan to have aliens on planets, they plan to have wildlife on planets, they plan to have dangerous wildlife on planets. This is going to be part of the science gameplay, this is going to be part of sort of like surviving on planets. There might be missions and stuff associated with that as well. And animals are supposed to have schedules as well. But at the moment, we don't have usable humanoid AI, so I would hope that they'd get them done first. Will the economy be fixed? Yes. It will be fixed eventually. Let me go pee quick. Hopefully the 3.8.x patches will fix a lot of it. Very tensing. He's tensing for some legal speaks. Can anyone hear him being? I could. Since game development is taking so long, is there anything in place with CIG for account recovery of deceased of their family and kins? Just message CS. I think that's actually been a thing. That's the thing for all games. Just message their customer service. I suspect they will have some form of system. I bequeath him my Star Citizen account so that my son may be able to play when the game is finished. I am planning to steal a hammerhead at some point this week. Hey, Board. How long till beta? So it depends on how you define beta. Beta really, it could be in any phase. Are you talking about feature complete beta? You're talking about before they move into beta. I consider potentially when they go into permanent progression for persistence stuff, then you're sort of in at the start of beta, but it's certainly not feature complete beta. Got alcohol gel, mates. Go like that. Bam. That's what you need to do. No, I didn't wash my hands. Of course I fucking did. You fucking monster. Do you not message CS that close the account? Will they? Surely they won't. I don't know. I don't know what the policy is. I just assumed they wouldn't. When do you think they put insurance in game, and do you think we'll be able to insure our cargo in some way? Yes, I believe there's going to be multiple types of insurance to insure your hull better, so you get it back quicker or get more money back, whatever. Get it replaced quicker. But you should be able to also sort of like insure your cargo, insure your changes to your ship, all that sort of stuff as well. Your FPS gear. It's going all right. Thanks very much for asking. Right. So, let's talk more about Crytek stuff. So, for people that want to have this, I can have it here. So, the Crytek stuff's taken interesting turns. So, originally, Crytek had sued CIG for a variety of different things, including breach contract, IP infringement, and basically they had said that CIG had moved to a different engine and weren't allowed to. Then they said they hadn't moved to another engine, and so that they're suing them. They also said that they had created 2 games using 1 license, which they weren't allowed to, and there were some other more minor things as well. So the CIG moving over to another engine, the court went, they're allowed to move over to another engine. That's dismissed. CIG, Crytek have then taken the sort of like direction of the main point of their, my understanding anyway, that the main point of their case is now you made 2 games, but you only had license for 1 game. It's basically what they're saying. And they have recently tried to dismiss that own case because they are basically saying that they thought Squadron 42 was going to be out already because CIG said it was going to be out already. That's the only reason they originally sued. They thought it was going to be out by now, and they're potentially not breaching the contract until they release it, or it's worth Crytek's time and money to sue once it's been released. But Crytek are asking to have to be able to bring it back without prejudice, without any conditions. So basically saying, dismiss the case. We don't want to pay for CIG's legal fees or anything. We just want a clean break, and then we'll be able to refile this lawsuit later. And they basically gave some various reasons why it would not, it wouldn't damage the court, it wouldn't cost CIG any money, because they are going to sue again later, but they have to wait until Squadron 42 is released. Which is just an interesting change of tack, because originally, Crytek, one of their prayers for relief in the original filing is for potentially getting an injunctive order, so basically stopping development of that game. So that would mean the game wouldn't come out. And now they're saying that they're wanting Squadron 42 to come out before they sue, or they were expecting it to be out by now. So it's sort of like, okay, take and eat it sort of scenario. I understand their change of tact. That they don't want, they want to be in the best position they can, so that they can potentially get the best settlement out of CIG or perform the best in the court they can if it does get to that. But CIG are not going to want to allow Crytek to dismiss it. They're going to want to either finish the case now, or settle for a minimal amount, or have the case dismissed with some conditions. The conditions being pay for our legal fees up until now, or well, dismiss it with prejudice would be the best thing. So dismissing something without prejudice means you can bring it back freely to court. With prejudice means you can't bring it back. You can't sue for the same thing. So it's an interesting thing. Bam. See if anyone's asked any particular questions when I started my rant. Do you think 2020, with the possible release of Squadron 42, will be the year we see a dramatic increase in new ships and mechanics to the persistent universe? We will certainly see increases to the ships and core tech and stuff in the game. We don't know when Squadron 42 is coming out. The current roadmap shows that they want a beta, sort of like a feature complete beta, by the end of Q3 2020. That could have drastically changed. That might have moved on. One of the things in the Crytek lawsuit that they said was one of the reasons they want to stop the case, they want to dismiss it, is because something interesting they found out about Squadron 42, which we're assuming is about its release date, and we're assuming that is that CIG have not got a release date in mind yet. Have you heard anything on ships which are multiplying in numbers in the ship order kiosk? Yes, so there is a load of problems with the databases and ASOP terminal stuff at the moment. I think even Luke Presley, who's head of Star Citizen Live something similar to that, he was talking about fixing that at the moment. They're sorting out the ASOP stuff. The game will be released when we're all dead and buried. If only it was that soon. For the civilization after us. The rat people. They had to complete Star Citizen. Playing as humans. Yeah, so that's the other thing, is that with the Crytek stuff, CIG moved over to the Lumberyard Engine. Now, to read the motion to dismiss stuff, Crytek is claiming that they've proven already that CIG are still using the Lumberyard Engine. That's what they said. That is not, or at least they haven't shown that from Discovery. So they've gone into Discovery. There's been responses from CIG about Discovery about when Squadron 42 come out. Probably they said they didn't know. Is it going to be Squadron 42 being separate from Star Citizen? They probably said, we don't know. Maybe. We haven't decided yet. But they also then said, it's already been proven that CIG is still using the Lumberyard, the CryEngine, or CryEngine code. That's not from Discovery. That is from a comment that Ortwin or one of the replies that CIG made to Crytek, saying the code is basically the same from CryEngine to Lumberyard. That's what they said, and now Crytek are saying they've proved that already that CIG did not move over to the Lumberyard Engine. I suppose technically what it is that both can be true. They moved over to Lumberyard and they're using CryEngine code, but they're allowed to use CryEngine code because it's Lumberyard code. Yeah? Yeah, they want yeah, so that was the other thing. They CIG basically Crytek is preventing now CIG from deposing Crytek CEOs and getting those depositions. They're saying no, that cost of money. No, we want to motion dismiss, and we're going to re-sue later. And it's like, huh. And they want their bond back and things like this. So if the court does side mostly with Crytek, hopefully they will impose some restrictions on that. I doubt the court will. I mean, my very, very limited legal knowledge will side with Crytek fully. It seems that they might go, yeah, without prejudice, but you have to pay their legal fees because you might not refile. With lawyers and legal stuff, you've got to remember that it is about the money typically, or about doing the best you can for your client. So sometimes that is injunctions, sometimes that is fairness. But it's typically about the money. And contract law isn't about morals. It's literally about, you've wronged us, give me money. It's as simple as that. So you position yourself like a game, try and get the most you can. Apart from hardware, what software edit changes do you think has made the most improvements to your performance? What? For my PC? My 2080 Ti? It's pretty strong. It starts as a small bottleneck at my GPU before it hits my CPU, I believe now. Does the lawsuit impact backers' money, or this its own pocket? Well, it's backer money, I suppose, as well. They had Ortwin and legal counsel on retainer for this very sort of like for this particular issue. And anything like this ever comes up, so it is going to be being used with backer money or other CIG money that could have been used on development. Calder money at the moment. They got 46 million, haven't they, from private investors? Do you think it's worth buying UEC? No. In no way is it worth buying UEC currently. If they change the way it works or change the amount you get per dollar, maybe. At the moment, if you desperately wanted to start the game with more UEC than another player or other people, buy certain ships. Certain ships have a better leveraged sort of price, a dollar to UEC sort of value, and you'll be able to sell them. Bam, get a load of UEC when you start. What did Chris say about elevators, and what episode of Round the Verse was it? What do you mean? Physicalized elevators is what they're aiming for eventually for everything, but they're sort of like semi-physicalized currently. You say who really cares, J-Bed, but other people genuinely do care about it. That's the issue with the Crytek stuff, assuming you're talking about the Crytek stuff. And obviously lawyers care about it. And it's interesting to see these lawyers position around each other with stuff. Do you think the legal bullshit will delay Squadron 42 if they change? No, I don't think it would. Crytek, CIG would just make sure they've got an ironclad release. I mean, it might fractionally change something, but the thing is that CIG, as far as I'm aware, have moved over to the Lumberyard Engine, and they are within their rights to release the game. Crytek are just being litigious and trying to get a settlement. Yeah, they bought the code from Crytek, but it's still under a game license agreement. They didn't have free reign to just do whatever they want. They couldn't resell the game engine constantly to other people. They couldn't become a seller of of CryEngine. We've sold our engine wholesale to this other company, so it's not entirely wholesale. It was under a license. There were some restrictions to that license. However, they did move over to a different engine they were developing the game with, which is very similar and has same code and stuff, but is different. Okay, we're going to terminate our license and with you and move on to the other company. You can't do that. You have an agreement with us. Sure, we can. The agreement allows us to use your stuff. It doesn't require us to use your stuff forever. Yes, that's what Crytek were originally arguing. It says they are required to use our stuff. They said, no, we can, but we're not going to anymore. We're going to sue for copyright breach under contract. Generally, you get remedies. You don't get remedies for both. Well, the GLA allowed us to do this, so... Oh, man. Such a weird thing, isn't it? Suing under the GLA, but the GLA precludes them suing. Does it mean Crytek are in a breach of contract with Amazon? Maybe. Depends on the contract they had with Amazon. I don't know their contract. Or do you think that those panoramming Crytekers are trying to get CIG to expose Squadron 42 game code so they can replicate it, make their own game? No, I mean, I think if Crytek sit down and just continue to develop their engine and go in a slightly different direction than Lumberyard, they'll do fine. They're good at making engine, well, at least previously they were, when they had more of CIG's employees. CIG have got them, all the old Crytek employees now. But Crytek can go back to its core values. It's not like the end of them or anything. I mean, the Hunt Showdown's pretty good. You love me. Thank you very much, Project Pancake. Very much appreciated. You're all right yourself. Do you think we'll ever get elevator music in game? Yes. I think we'll get proper elevator music. Which ship would you recommend for maximizing UEC gain? At the moment, probably the Caterpillar and doing trading. Although you could do some great mining in the Prospector. Do you think Star Citizen will have DLC behind paywalls? No, I do not think it will have paywall DLC. Yeah, it's possible that CIG would integrate any new DirectX technologies as well in Star Citizen, although they do want to make it as neutral as possible, so if they can get away with just Vulkan, that makes more sense for them. Other than Pyro, any ideas what other systems we could be getting in 2021 or 2022? Yeah, so my expectation, Gamer J, is that they will go towards the Odin system, so probably Nyx after the Pyro system, and then on to the Odin system. You might get systems like Magnus as well. That's from Stanton to Magnus, because they're very simple systems. They're systems that are mostly going to be working with procedural generation tech. Do I think DS is giving Crytek legal advice? No. But I can imagine other outlets and potentially even Crytek quoting him or using a tweet. Do you think orbiting planets and moons will be implemented? They've said they're going to be. They've even built the tech so that they've got quantum travel splines, so that they can sort of like go, I'm going here, and it's going to be over there by the time I get there. So you're going to be traveling as something else is traveling to get there. Do you see what I mean? So that moon is going to be moving as you're quantum traveling to it. Which helped me steal your remote. Nice. Wipe the release of with platform persistence. I would expect there to be a wipe with 3.8.x and platform persistence. Yes. Just because if you look how fucked the ASOP terminal and databases are at the moment, and with tiny guns and things like that, I expect that's actually a largely database problems, which I would expect a reset for. But yeah, I just was reading loads of articles online about that Crytek case that was quoting a Reddit article as fact, with Squadron 42 is probably years away. It's like, that's not what it says at all. It doesn't say anything. They literally say redacted. What's happening with Squadron 42? Redacted. What they probably said is, we don't have a release date yet. We knew that all fucking ready. I'd love it to be released at the end of 2020, Squadron 42. But probably won't be. Love it if it did. I love it if it would. Any idea when we get buyback tokens? January at some point. Let me link you back. Buyback token Star Citizen. Purge buyback tool. January at some point. I will link you the Q&A for that. Crusader said it only took 2 months to get Microtech and redo all the existing planets. Does that mean they could double the existing universe in 2 months' time? They could expand out the universe massively in a month, but it would all be procedural tech planets, which wouldn't have like bespoke landing zones on. They'd just be outposts and space stations and stuff like that. So that sort of stuff they can do really fucking quickly. Really quickly. Moons, planets, planets like Microtech without the city on. Planets like Kirsten without the city on. They could have a really giant universe pretty quickly. And so new systems and new planets and things like that, especially when they are don't have aliens or built-up areas and or whatever, they can build significantly quickly, more quickly. And they're basically just building out new biomes, new architecture, new tech, new assets to place in this procedural universe that they're building. But it's not fully procedure generated. They want stuff to be procedurally assisted. So although they can build stuff out really quickly, they don't want to do that because they want some landing zones that are very, very, very much more artist-driven. So 80% procedural, 20% artist. What do you think of Operation Pitchfork? Is it a reasonable goal for Star Citizen since it might launch without Vandal systems in-game? We'll work something out. We're going to do, when we have the ability to do something at Operation Pitchfork, we will, I think. Do you think they'll wipe our credits in the next patch? Yes, almost certainly with the 3.8.x patch. They're obviously trying not to. It's still possible, but I would expect it. There are some crazy bugs for 3.8.x at the moment. It's preventing me from filming some gameplay stuff I want to do, for sure. Do you think they will release the Idris of the game before Squadron 42 or held back because of spoilers? It depends on when they have Squadron 42 sort of planned to be released as well. So I think we'll find out this year what's happening with Squadron 42. And probably when we're likely to get an Idris. With release of 3.9 and new Babbage, do you expect to get some different types of Mobiglass? No, I wouldn't expect to have the Mobiglass. New Mobiglasses yet. That's where we would get them. Microtech eventually, but we won't have any new ones yet. Some people see the mole is fundamentally flawed for many reasons. Is there any truth to this? Probably it's in some reasons. Probably some things that the mole is shit at. How do you feel that now that Brexit is more or less decided? I'll see what happens with Brexit and what's going to happen with it. I'll be dynamic and I won't give up. Trying to make money, trying to be a good person, trying to live my life. I'm not defeatist at all in any way. It's a thing that is happening. It is not a oh god. How would you feel about real-life advertising in the verse for supplemental revenue as long as it was law-friendly and not intrusive, i.e. Coca-Cola added a billboard to Area 18? I think that's a fucking great idea. Get real-life ads that are slightly edited to be in-game law and get money for it. I think that's a great idea. You get really high-quality ads then. Maybe a far-fetch, but how in detail will specialised jobs be on a large ship, like the navigator, have to plot a course, etc.? Will continue below. So yeah, some of the roles are certainly going to be very in-depth. It's like an engineer. You're going to be running around large ships. You're going to be repairing stuff. Stuff's going to be breaking down. That might be you just doing maintenance on objects. But there's also going to be like fuse boxes and connections between areas that you'll need to keep on doing maintenance on or fixing if they blow or whatever. There's going to be some roles, like you might have a role as a pilot, but you might be able to multitask that with other roles operating other MFDs at the same time. Like you'd have your comms officer also doing the route plotting and navigating. So we don't know how fleshed out each of these mechanics is going to be, but the ones that aren't fleshed out enough to have someone doing a full role on that, then they'll multi-roll it with something else. Yeah? Make sense with capital ships? Do you think Star Citizen will ever have super crews like Elite does? It sort of did have super crews briefly. Oh, for non-quantum system. I mean, we can travel up to quite fast now. I'm not exactly sure how super cruise works in Elite, to be honest. But I would expect other ways to travel, and to quantum travel to locations. A lot of consoles on large bridges, but one console can basically do everything. So why need for a big crew? So those other consoles can do the same tasks, but you might want people just multi-rolling certain roles. So you're in charge of the shields and the power systems. You're in charge of the operating, because there's going to be loads of remote control turrets. There's going to be security. There's going to be that sort of stuff. There's going to be lots and lots of other MFD systems in game, overclocking stuff, checking stuff for damage. There's going to be a lot of communication that's needed. There's going to be scanning things, and there's going to be it depends on the role of the ship as well. EM warfare, sort of like E-warfare. That's what EM warfare. E-warfare. Can we expect raw planets and moons where we discover them and it's up to us to build outposts? I mean, there are going to be planets in lawless areas or unexplored, uncivilized areas, which you will then be able to use pioneers to build outposts on, yes. How much of a requirement do you think multi-crew will be for bigger ships like the Corsair? I mean, the big ships, medium-sized ships, larger, really need better multi-crew systems before we can make more use of them. Like, they are starting to do it piecemeal with Star Citizen, but there's a load of stuff we need before the game is an MMO, before the game is a sit-down and play, proper, fun gameplay experience every time. Like, you can do some great stuff with the organisation now, but you're going to have 50 people in a server. I want org battles. I want to be able to have permanent progression. I want to have a load of the shit that's broken in the game fixed. I want loads more gameplay loops. I want more things to do for multi-crew in a ship. We need repair. We need all this sort of stuff. We need overclocking. Revere, thank you very much for the raid, by the way. Sorry, I was having a bit of a rant. Yay! Yay indeed, Johnny. Question, why do frozen oceans have stupid rocks? Think they overdo rocks sometimes? Yeah, probably. Procedural generation system? In your opinion, how many more gameplay loops are dependent upon persistence and or server meshing before that gameplay can be rolled out? I mean, all of them are dependent on it, but they can have them, like, for the final versions. but they can certainly have the first iterations for most gameplay loops before they have persistence and server meshing in. I find game chat and VoIP and FOIP, well, FOIP works very, very fucking well. VoIP and chat in-game I find work erratically. What part do you enjoy most about Star Citizen? The community. It literally is the community. I mean, I love interacting and social gameplay. Star Citizen is great for that. I'm looking forward to having a game that has permanent progression, where I can affect change in-game by doing silly videos, by socializing with other people at Game Fests, by playing the game every day, by doing interesting stuff and having lots of different stories. And there's no real sort of like win condition other than try and do the best you can, make money, that sort of stuff. Try and beat other orgs, try and, I don't know, lots of stuff that I want to do. When do you think we'll be able to jump to Pyro? It's supposed to be in 2020, so I think Q3 to Q4 2020. There's supposed to be other types of mobiGlas in the future. Do you think any other Vandal ships will go on sale? We could see a Stinger go on sale, potentially. They did say there wasn't going to be any other Vandal ships, I think. But I could potentially see a Stinger. And obviously the Scythe and Glaive update should reach us at some point as well. I bought a CCU during CitizenCon and got a pop-up stating all mounted CCUs purchased during the event will be repurchasable after the event. But they were not. Any idea if eventually? ? I don't know specifically. Maybe? So some of that stuff's promo stuff. So I wouldn't have thought it would have been purchasable back. That's the thing. If they said it was, then it is. But you'd have to ask CS. The CS question. In-game IRL ads have been proposed many times in previous MMOs. When has it ever happened and worked? I don't know. Probably did Second Life do it, or any of those sort of like Second Life-y type games? What may have changed to mean it could work now? So the idea is that if they allowed Coca-Cola or advertising of companies like that in the game, they say you have to make a company in lore that adds to the lore of the game, and then they have to make a high quality ad for that. So they get high quality ads which help build the lore of the game, help world build, and it makes them money. Best fighter for around €100. I would say the Anvil Arrow. I really like the Arrow. How much UEC do you think a player should get paid for cleaning the floor of an entire R&R area? I think you should get paid maybe an amount of UEC per like 15-minute chunk. Every 15 minutes based on, like, maybe it gives you a little ranking based on how clean the area your cleaning is. And you get more sort of like money per every 15 minutes while your rank's high. So maybe like 1,000 to 3,000 UEC per 15 minutes based on your performance. Something like that. I mean, that's at current levels of gameplay time. I mean, they're going to need to balance this shit out loads, and the value of UEC may drop significantly, may go massively up. I mean, I'd like to see the value of UEC drop significantly. So, stuff go up. I want UEC to mean something. I want to get much less for missions. I want to get chips to be much less in value. How do you feel about player chip manufacturing? I think it's a great idea. I would like to see manufacturing in game. Specifically for player chip manufacturing, a little bit sort of like a little less into that, but I still think it's possible and still something I would say it's pretty cool. I just want manufacturer for components, for munitions, for fuel, for food, that sort of stuff, so that you can survive, repair, refuel, rearm your ships in lawless space in your own base. But manufacturer of ship as well sounds cool. How in the name all that is holy do they prove that certain code isn't CryEngine code and not Lumberyard code? They see if it's specific to CryEngine and of the CryEngine code that CIG had only with their Crytek license agreement. Simple as that. They get experts and look through all the lines of code. So what you've heard so far, and this is my belief anyway, this is my understanding, Crytek saying that they've already proved that Star Citizen hasn't changed it to the Lumberyard engine. It's just a off-the-cuff remark from CIG saying the CryEngine and Lumberyard code is pretty much the same at that point. Because Lumberyard bought CryEngine's code to build Lumberyard. When do we receive our buyback tokens? It's in January at some point. I'm interested to know what sort of food we can prepare in Star Citizen. At the beginning, it's just going to be sort of like semi-automated or whatever, I suspect. We'll buy it from the food vendors. So you're about to buy your torpedo burritos or whatever. Thank you very much, Cage Geek, by the way, for buying me a torpedo burrito at CitizenCon. But I think eventually maybe you'll be able to, based on having a chef or stores of food or a kitchenette, maybe you will be able to make different types of fucking food. We don't have a date on 3.8.x yet, the next 3.8.x patch. I would expect it within the next 2 weeks. They need to fix a load of problems ASAP. And they also want to get out a new set of armor as well, and the Cutlass Thread. Do you expect there will eventually be a wormhole generation ship? That's an interesting one. I mean, that's the sort of stuff you might see far in the far future. Like after release of the game. Will the game ever give a better explanation on ship item, so we're less guessing if the item is better than the one before? Yes! You will eventually have much better stats and understandings of the items in game. Yes. They've talked about that before. You're about to compare stats and stuff a lot better, a lot easier. Does VoIP actually transmit facial animations to another player? It's supposed to. Whether it does at the moment is intermittent at best. So they are working on scanning and sort of like locational data and moving around the verse. So can we plot our own quantum jumps in the future? That's the plan as I understand it. To what extent can we do that? I don't know. When do you think the passenger gameplay for the Starliner will come into play? So in the starports now, even they have areas that they've sort of like got planned for Genesis Starliners to come along and be able to transport players around. So I don't know when that's going to be, but I know they've got plans to do it, and could be 2020, could be 2021. Genesis Starliner. They could get all those Crusader ships out at the end of by the end of 2020 if they really tried. The gameplay for that passenger Starliner, though, that is a different story, I suppose. I am going to dash off in a second, because I am thirsty as sin. Do you think full loot will allow us to loot the $5,000 pledge armor and wear it? Or will CIG avoid this to keep it behind a paywall? You should be able to... So as far as I know, that's one of the way you'd get some of these items is by looting them off players that have them. I suspect that players will be able to insure their golden armor and stuff and to get it replaced, and if they put insurance on it. But pirates will be able to run around wearing a load of random bits of gold armor that they've stolen. Do you think 2020 CitizenCon will bring a release date for Squadron 42? I was hoping that 2019's would. So I think that we have to really see a Squadron 42 release date announced this year. and the marketing campaign to start. Is ore a commodity? Yes. Also, they plan to put refineries in the game as well. Would you accept a sponsorship from Greg's if they approach you? Fuck yeah. Give me a steak bake every fucking day. I don't think I would, actually. I mean, if it was a lot of money, I would. As long as I could be really blunt and honest about it. It's like, you get fat from eating Greg's, but it's quite nice. And cheap. Bam. I meant, will there be real live Moby-Glass merchandise? Oh! Yeah. I don't know to what extent CIG are going to merch their game. Start playing Star Citizen on Saturday. Recommended starting package. Adventure Titan starter package or Cutlass Black starter package. For just general gameplay. Why do shoes cost more than torpedoes? Because you only need to buy one set of shoes. You think well, actually, it needs to be hugely balanced, and we don't have a real value of UEC at the moment. It's sort of like just changes and it's random. Well, not random, but you think CIG will keep their promise to add a point defense system weapon to the Phoenix? I think they'll. So they're not having a point defense system in that way. They're not having the point defense system like the Phoenix originally was intended to have. They've changed the point defense systems to basically have AI modules placed in certain turrets to be able to then them do basic tasks, such as something a point defense system would do. So try and shoot down torpedoes or shoot down close range fighters or whatever. I believe that's still coming eventually for the Phoenix. I'm hoping that CIG allows to quantum marker into random space in the future. Even if it takes a lot longer to... My idea for that is having it a lot longer to spool when it's not a... there's nothing like no marker to be able to lock onto. So it just takes ages and ages and ages for you to spool and calibrate before you can actually quantum travel there. So that you can't just use it to escape constantly. You have to basically not be attacked to be able to do that. But if you like lock onto a planet or a moon or whatever, you sort of like have data to go by and it's sort of like easier to spool and calibrate to. I hope they allow us to do that soonish. The same way as that I want them to be able to allow us to save locational data and then share that and stuff like that. If players get manufacturing, do you think we'll be able to purchase ad spots in cities like Area 18? I don't know if they're going to allow stuff like that. It'd be cool if you could. I mean, they're going to have physicalized tabs and physicalized hangers for players. So, do you think we'll be able to collect alien cuisine recipes? Oh my god! So some of the stuff in Star Citizen, you don't know how deep it's going to be. They might have some stupidly deep plans for. I mean, the prison gameplay that they've got planned for 3.9 at the moment, with the merit system and that huge sort of like in-depth gameplay of you mine and you can trade merits and all that sort of stuff. And if you get captured or killed in front of police or bounty hunters, that's when you go to prison. And you have to pay off your merits based on your criminal rating and your crimes that you'd committed. And I think it's such a fucking great idea and much more in depth than I expected anything for prison gameplay to be. So, and maybe we see a new Inside Star Citizen this week, though it could be next week. Is there any proof CIG doesn't use Lumberyard and stuck to CryEngine beyond that quote? Not that we are aware of. Crytek certainly didn't say it was due to discovery or anything they see in the code. They just said it's based on that comment. If there's proof, it's in the code. I'd expect you'll see when CIG reply between now and the 24th of January, you'll see the sort of responses there, basically saying Crytek only. This is only Crytek's main point now because other points have been dismissed and it was weak anyway. They wanted an injunctive order, and they said it was about fairness and preventing us from developing the game as one of their remedies. So now them saying that they were expecting Squadron 42 to be released by now is madness. He weren't even originally suing for that. And for them to make all those points anyway. And to say, no, we have moved over to the Lumberyard Engine. You've taken that drastically out of context. It's still accurate. The Lumberyard uses CryEngine code, and we are using that CryEngine code from Lumberyard, which we are allowed to do because that's the engine we're on. That's what I expect their response to say. Is there any update on how they want to tackle science gameplay? No updates on that, no. I mean, they haven't really even started science gameplay. Not even, like, little tiny bits of it yet. CIG remains true to form. They'll release the Star Runner to define the company style, and then move on to the bigger ships. Yes! That's what I expected as well, Coffee Gaming. But then they had the Hercules Starlifter on the roadmap, but not the Mercury Star Runner. So it was a bit weird. So maybe they'll go back to doing the Star Runner first, and then the Hercules stuff. Hey man, just joined the stream. Will we definitely get a account wipe for this impending 3.8.x patch? Not definitely, no. But I'm expecting one. Because the databases are really screwed up. And if it implements platform persistence, then it's likely they'll do a reset for platform persistence. Crytek is still on the schedule. It's planned to be released in February as part of the 3.8 branch. Love California. Any idea when we might get a 3.8.x patch to weed out some of the bugs? Within the next couple of weeks, I would expect one. I'm hoping for one this week, but more likely next week. Which ship do you recommend for maximizing UEC profit when the game launches? I don't know. It depends on what you want to do as a role. It depends on how many people you can get behind you. How many people can you work together with? Are you talking about lone gameplay? Are you talking about combat gameplay? Are you talking about industrial gameplay? At the moment, the Caterpillar is great for cargo hauling to leverage the most money as quickly as possible. But it's going to be vastly different based on all those other factors. How do we get CIG to contract with Hot Wheels to create a line of Star Citizen ships? Oh my god. I suspect you're about to have some interesting aftermarket customizations with ships. Where did you get the information that we don't need to have Alpha UBC? Where did you get the information that we don't have Alpha UBC persistence yet? How can you know if it's in yet or not? So CIG said either in Star Citizen Live or in a dev post that 3.8 might not see 3.8 initial release might not see platform persistence, and it should be in a 3.8.x patch if it's not. And platform persistence has not been in the patch notes, so it isn't. As far as I'm aware, is not in the game. Do you know if there'll be Planet Tech V5? So they've basically said that Planet Tech V4 is all they need. But as in it's the core and the sort of bones of Planet Tech, they'll constantly iterate and improve Planet Tech, but they won't redo the tools fully for version 5. It will just be improved version 4 constantly. I think they said they were starting Star Citizen videos around the 23rd of January again. Really? Hopefully they'll. I mean, that's possible. I mean, they might need to do their. I mean, it's possible it will take a while before they get the videos back. Hopefully they'll get some posts up starting today, though. I'd like to see the Squadron 42 updates newsletter and the monthly report, because that's sort of like CitizenCon as well, monthly report. How come there were no visible robots, cyborgs, or droids in the game? It was a design choice. They don't want robot AI running around. If Squadron 42 would be bundled together with Star Citizen multiplayer part, Would that solve everything? So I believe that if they had some potential ways that arguably CIG could say that they are conforming with Crytek's request or issue with Squadron 42 being sold separately, is that they could have Squadron 42 and Star Citizen in the same launcher, or they could have Squadron 42 get access to Star Marine and Arena Commander, which is technically Star Citizen. However, I mean, the main argument from Star Citizen is that we don't need to conform to your GLA. We have moved engine. We have moved engine to another engine. You can say that we haven't as much as you want, but we have. That's basically what I say. So, just so people know, if Crytek had proved that CIG was still using the Cry engine and not crediting them, do you think they would be trying to dismiss their case at the moment? No, they would say, great, let's take it to court then, and give us a fuck ton of money, because we have seen that you're using our code, which is specifically our code and not Lumberyard code, just our code. A code that you could not have got just with Lumberyard. That is part of the original branch and part of the RGLA with you. Do you think they'd be trying to get rid of that old case? They're trying to dismiss it? No, they fucking wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. It's routers, not routers. What? It's routers, not routers. What? Is CIG in favour of gravity ramp generators that can be used to slow down bigger ships in the form of a mine? Jeff Hardy, thank you very much for bringing that up. That is something I actually want to talk about eventually, probably later this year. So, in EVE, you have Webifiers and ships that slow you and prevent you from going basically into your quick quantum E drive. We need that in Star Citizen, in my opinion, as well. So, a gravity field generator that slows ships down near it, I think is a good idea. What are the gravity effects on the planet? So it affects the flight model of ships on the planet, but I'm not sure to what extent it's going to be able to pull ships around and along in the future. If you could design a planet, how would it look and such? It would look like an egg or a potato, and it would have my face on it. Like that. Perfect. So, at the moment, gravity has an effect on the sort of like artificial flight model, is the idea. And that's basically what you'll get in the future when they weaken the thrusters in atmosphere, and as they continue to tweak the flight model, you'll see like a more artificial gravity. I'm not sure to what extent they'll make it more realistic. When are we getting the planet side game mode? Are you talking about Theatres of War? Theatres of War was supposed to be early 2020, so first Q 2020 would be my expectation. So in the next month or so, we could probably see it with Eva Carty. Should CIG make a partnership with Virpil to make an official HOTAS? That would probably be the best option they could have, in my opinion. Virpil are fucking fantastic at making HOTAS. The Constellation Delta is my favourite stick and HOTAS set ever. So, are we going to talk about the fact that you're such a handsome man? I'm not going to read the next part out because I'm beautiful and it's irrelevant. Thank you. I love you, Giran. You're a good chap. So I wish CIG wouldn't sneak things into patches without listening to them. Look, so the straight to flyable thing with ships. I want concept ships. I want to know about a ship at its earliest possible stage. Put spoiler little warnings on things so I can click them on or off. Great, whatever. I don't want secret things in patches either. I want, oh, there's new something in patch. Great. Tell me what's in the fucking patch notes. Tell me everything that's in this patch at the earliest possible stage. I've got a sore throat now. I'm gonna go in a second. I'm gonna go have some delicious food, or drink, or a cup of tea probably. Is the version of maximum ship speed expected to stay? What? Is this version of maximum ship speed expected to stay? Shouldn't ships be able to continuously accelerate? Yes, so they might tweak some stuff with that. Like, once you turn your engines off, again, I'm hoping that they allow you to continuously move. Not accelerate, you wouldn't continually accelerate, but you'd move at the same sort of speed unless something interacted with you. It's sort of like CIG are going for their own version of a flight model, and hopefully this has at least some realism, but is supposed to be fun over anything else. Fun and aid the gameplay and be usable and be in sort of like line with what they want with combat and their flight model. Now, there is a way to go getting combat into a great place and the flight model into something that is considered a great flight model compared to something that is currently in progress. And there's a lot of stuff like that. Like, I'm not sure what their final intention is going to be with it. How is piracy going to work? What mechanics are planned for being able to drop cargo, hold for another ship and pick it up? Tractor beams? Yeah, there are going to be tractor beams to move cargo around, yes. And there's also plans to be able to move some cargo by hand and put it on ships. So you will be able to steal cargo and pirate cargo. And there's also going to be places that you can sell stolen ships, like scrapyards. I'm not going to answer as a bod character. I've got a sore throat. I'm just about to go. The Jono, I will put it on the list of things I'll maybe do in the future. I will sing you a song of Star Citizen. I'm the worst at singing or doing any form of rhythm or rhyme, so bear that in mind. It's going to be pretty fucking bad. Is exploration gameplay in sight with the Crytek coming out in February? No. No. I mean, exploration gameplay requires deeper scanning mechanics, and then lots of points of interest, and then sort of like interesting dynamic modular points of interest that are generated, and then can have their locations saved. And we need a lot of stuff to come along to have that. And then, obviously, exploration touches on science and lots of other missions and stuff as well. You'll see lots of little bits of exploration coming more and more in. And then, eventually, when they add a load of stuff together, it'll be like its own mechanic. But what ship should I buy to maximize UEC per dollar? I think the last time I looked, it was the Hammerhead, but that was a long time ago and would be expensive, so don't do that. There are... on Reddit, there are spreadsheets that will show you. Do you know if there will be unique flight mechanics per ship? There's going to be ships that fly in different ways, like the Xi'an ships. Obviously, got the thrusters that are more. They like to strafe fight and move. And then the Tavaran, the sort of like they're going to be slightly different. So yeah, different ships and different races and stuff are going to move differently. They're not their own flight model per se necessarily. They are certainly going to fly differently. Do you expect there will be one of those surprise ships designed for the Titan suit? Oh, so a ship that specifically drops the Titan suits. The modules in ships make sense to have Titan suits in. I'm not sure if they do a specific ship for Titan suits. Maybe they fucking would. Right, I'm going to host someone else. Thank you very much for watching me. I do appreciate it. I'm thirsty. I have a sore throat. I was stressed by Crytek statements. Well, by people interpreting Crytek statements differently to how I did, and then using them as sort of like a thing. Who do we wanna stream? Matachi's just jumped in again. Let's rehost Matachi. Because I've not seen him for a while. Right. And I'll say hi. Right, thank you very much for joining me today, guys. Very much appreciated. Love your fucking faces. I will try and get a video out on what ships are left to do in concept, because there's like 40 ships left. I think there's like 100 something I'm already done. So I want to talk about ships that are left to do in the next couple of days. I want to do a Star Citizen roadmap to completion as well. But thank you very much for watching. You take care. Love your faces. If you've got any feedback or you want to say hi, whatever, you can get me at contact@boredgamer.co.uk or on my Discord. Come and say hello. And yeah, thanks for the love. Yeah, there are bugs in 3.8, which is annoying because I was hoping it'd be a lot more playable. It's there's a load of cool stuff in the patch, but it's just like any other Star Citizen patch we've had, like playability-wise. It's, you know, a load of shit broken. You can be avoided, can be worked around, yeah, and you can have some great gameplay. It's just, you know, hopefully 3.9 will have a lot more playable, or 3.8.x patch will bam, bam, and fix a load of stuff to go, oh, this is actually a really good experience now. So, we'll see. I love you guys. You take care. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later. And thanks for all the fucking money and chucking more stuff. And don't be worried about not being active, Kieran. You're active enough. I love you. You're all good. It's almost like it's an unfinished game, I know, right? Thanks for watching.